LSU Odyssey live, Monday live. You know, we always have to when I feel like the energy for me is to say something more than writing it. I just set up the StreamYard and jump on here and go for it. And here we are at work. It's a time to a dead time. I can still do my job while doing this, um, but I must. I had to come on here to update our last video. We did one on Friday that went into heavy detail on the allegations against Kyron Lacy, former LSU receiver who had just entered the NFL draft. Negligent homicide charge, felony hit and run with death charge, reckless driving charge, all three charges. He was in discussions with the police department to turn himself in, and he has now done that. He did that last night, was released on a $151,000 bail bond, pretty much as soon as he was booked, book and release pretty much. He's being defended by superstar lawyer, Louisiana defense lawyer, Rocky Arsenault. So he's going to have the best type of defense going into this, but it's not looking good for Kyron. I've got to be honest. Everything I've heard from my police sources, which we actually have a few subscribers, a few people who read our stuff, including another guy who's not a source for this story, but has been in the past, our guy Harold. But Harold Hibbard, former police officer, sometimes has some information for us. But we had some sources who kind of fed us this story as it was beginning before Christmas. And I had no clue the seriousness of what was going on with it. They said it was I only seen a serious accident. That's all they could say. And then it kept trickling out. WAFB were able to get their Freedom of Information request approved, got all of the documentation, and saw that a man had died, Herman Hall. It seems to be a veteran of U.S. Marine military police. I think it is that he was a part of the military police. So a little different than being a Marine, like out in the field, but it looks to be that he was a veteran of the military police, at least from one of the badges that it showed. I still have not gotten official thing on that. That does not diminish his service or anything. I'm just saying that's a little added detail that no one's going to talk about, but we will. And it seems like with everything that the state police have said, the detectives were able to determine that it was Kyron Lacy driving the vehicle, 2023 Charger. Kind of fits in with the time of when he got the big first NIL deal, to start the 2023 season. One of those Chargers. And people have, it seems from all the witness reports, all the things I'm hearing, all the things WAFB have reported, just common sense as well added to this too. It seems, and just the language they're using in the reports, it seems that there is footage, whether that's a dash cam, whether that's a store across the way. It seems like there's no stores on this patch of the road where this happened, but or any places that could have cameras, but you never know where these cameras are placed nowadays and what they can get shots of, and just civilian dash cams as well he allegedly crossed the center line multiple times, forcing cars to almost like playing a game of chicken. They're just supposedly he's coming just right at them, and they're basically like, oh my god, we're gonna get in an accident if I don't like fly out of his way. I've got to quickly go correct out of his way, and in doing so, usually that's when you're gonna roll your vehicle, because you're already going at such a high rate of speed, and then you're braking a shit ton. And then you're thinking, oh my God, we're going to have to, turn out of this. And then it's just, you're rolling, you're airborne, things like that. These Kia Sorento and a Kia, I can't remember the other name, the two Kias crashed into each other. Herman Hall later died of his injuries. And now Kyron Lacy charged heavily with these three felony plus charges, negligent homicide, deep charge, just a tragedy all the way around, really. Just a sickening tragedy. And he's not the first athlete in the NFL or college to be about to go into the draft, and during that winter, springtime, just before you're in the draft, something really crazy happens. Some scandal, some incident, some legal trouble, all the above. And there really hadn't been much drama for LSU in that regard for a bit here. As much as the media tried to drub some up with some of our guys, but they were unsuccessful. Now, Kyron Lacy, he made a terrible decision, because not only did this happen, did he allegedly cause this accident that killed this man, but then fled from the scene. No accountability, tried to hide from it, act like nothing happened. And you don't know, because that's the thing, is his car doesn't have a scratch on it. There's nothing like that. I've heard some people out there online saying he didn't cause this accident. Yeah, how can you cause an accident if your car didn't have a scratch? How can you cause an accident if your car didn't? Okay, let's go with that argument. If I'm driving at you, okay, cool. So let's start over. I'm going through a green. We're at a stoplight. Okay, you're coming towards us. You're stopped at red as well. I'm coming the other way. We're going north and south. I'm going towards you. You're coming the other way. Instead of just staying in my lane, in my green light, I just start coming towards you, like head on, just like bam, 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 bam. It is almost a human gut reaction to go, immediately overcorrect with that car, swerve, get out of the way. Is it the guy's fault for swerving to get out of the way of what would have been a for sure accident? Is it his fault for the accident occurring because he had to swerve to get out of the way of the car coming directly at him at a high rate of speed on the opposite side of the road in a no passing lane where no one's expecting it, in a car that's capable of, it's very fast, zigzagging through, and you correct to get out of the way, and it's just a terrible situation. Here's the thing I will say. I've seen a lot of people saying very definitive things of free Kyron. This is a racist thing against him, and how can you be in an accident if you didn't have a scratch? All that type of those arguments. I've also heard people saying lock him away. He killed a veteran. He's a murderer. All this really crazy stuff that's over the line. I always knew he was a scumbag. I always knew when he did this celebration, that meant blah, blah, blah. which is just ridiculous. We've seen Joe Burrow do like the most savage, most like cold-hearted celebrations ever. That 2019 team, like they didn't do anything like this, but people are just trying to associate Lacy with as much negativity as possible because of what he did, because they don't like him. I'm just going to tell everybody, let's wait until we get every fact down. And I'm telling you, those facts are going to include footage. I'm being told that there is film right now of this accident from a dash cam. And that's why so many of these facts are obvious, why they understand. And of course, there's tire treads too, where of a car violently turning to the right while the other Kia violently turns to the left. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very obvious to trace this stuff, investigate the accident scene, and that's the thing they said too. It was a nasty accident scene, and they said in the report that Kyron Lacy drove around the accident scene and then took off. So how would they know all of this information unless there's footage? Either in bits, pieces, they've cobbled it together, made a compilation, and now they've got all the pieces, or a lone camera hanging out somewhere that captures it all. We're gonna find out soon either way. As far as to Marcus Cooley, 1 second, everybody. Ozaki, the king. That's the cool dude, Ozaki, from our work coming through. DeMarcus Cooley went on a visit that we've been talking about. We've been saying the Kentucky visit would decide a lot of things because he's going there with his brother. We weren't sure if they were a package deal, but this is kind of a visit that was going to kind of spell that out if it was a fact. And I kept saying, we're very high on him coming to LSU, but there's nothing thicker than familial blood. There's no bond bigger than familial blood. And then if you have Kentucky throwing the money on top of it, well, it's kind of hard for the Cooley brothers to look away from that. And that's what we're seeing right now, is that DeMarcus Cooley and his brother, I'm getting his brother's name wrong right here, but another name that starts with a T. Tamara, I'm not gonna try and screw it up, but this dude seems all in with Kentucky. Like his photos, his visit, his photo session, his tweet, his Instagram post from it seems like he is very like, I'm gonna be going to Lexington, Kentucky. To Marcus Cooley's retweet of it had the eyes, not like but it had the eyes, which is very, it gets everyone kind of like, ooh, what's gonna happen here? It is a very suspenseful recruitment here of this guy from the transfer portal, because DeMarcus Cooley is a fantastic player, multiple years of eligibility, 3 years of eligibility. Makes plays on the ball, makes plays in the backfield, makes plays over the middle, stuffs the run. He can do everything. DeMarcus Cooley from the safety position. He's exactly what LSU needs. And so you've got to ask yourself, is LSU going to be able to gamble on picking off a couple of these guys from these top 4 teams? From Kobe Black from Texas, a Sonny Styles from Ohio State, someone like that. Is that really going to be possible? Are we going to really want to, gamble on that over, maybe offering Cooley's brother and getting both the brothers to LSU? maybe LSU have missed a big play here by not offering the other the other Cooley brother. Because if you offer the other Cooley brother, you made that visit with both brothers, then it would be just instantly put in a pantheon where everyone else has to beat LSU. And that's where I already thought it was at, because of the strength of LSU's visits, the strength of the development, what they're going to be able to offer Cooley financially as well. But the idea of doing that with your brother, Kentucky, the expectations aren't so high, but yet the team is better. They're playing better. The brand is better. It's attractive to them, and I get it. We're going to find out very soon here, is my point. We're going to find out very soon if Cooley is going to be coming to LSU, or if he's going to be a package deal going to Kentucky with his brother. And right now, it's about flip a coin time. I got to be real with you. I would make a pick to make a pick, but it's kind of, I feel like that would be cheating you guys right now. It's not that I don't. You guys know me. I have the balls to make a pick. I have no problem getting things wrong, in search of trying to get to the truth, to make a prediction, put your ass on the line. Let's roll those dice, For this prediction, though, I've got to be real with you. When I say things are 50-50, I really do see it that way, that like this could go either damn way. Kentucky, right now, they look like they have an edge on the inside of LSU right now because of the brother thing. Because his brother's so in on Kentucky, it looks like they got the edge. They're kind of, if it's a race, they're just barely peeling around that corner, and it looks like they're gaining enough momentum. However, LSU can end this very quickly. LSU can end that momentum and that surge by Kentucky. I mean, we lose Cooley to Kentucky. That's embarrassing. I mean, however, is Cooley worth $5 million? Is Tamarcus Cooley worth $3 million? Here's the thing to me. I wouldn't look at the money you pay for Cooley as that. I would look at it this way. How much money is it worth to have your safeties good again at LSU? Because if you get at least a dude like Cooley, he's at least going to raise the level of everybody else. There's no more Major Burns. Thank God. Jordan Gilbert's going to be healthier this next year. We'll at least get a decent look at what he can do without his shoulder dangling there while he's trying to tackle, making some big mistakes last year. But still, all in all, I think Jordan Gilbert should be good for LSU. Javian Toviano. This dude's played 2 years at LSU, and you could barely even know it. We've wasted 2 years of a former 5-star when this kid could really be a starter for LSU. And we've barely found that out. We barely scratched that edge, and he's a damn good player. Whenever Toviano plays, he looks electric to me. You can play him anywhere, and that's part of the problem. They should have just said, hey, this is his role. We're sticking to it. Safety, And that's what Kerry Cooks wanted him to be originally. They put him at corner only out of necessity in 2023. But Kylan Jackson, too, we wasted 2 years of his eligibility, just like Toviano. He's gone. Jordan Allen wasted however many years of his eligibility. We never found out what he could do. He's gone. Sage Ryan, he played so many roles for the team, played so many snaps, made a lot of plays, made some mistakes as well, was so terribly criticized, I think unfairly. Still have a lot of love for Sage. Sage is my guy. And I think there's a lot of things misunderstood about him as a player at LSU, and a lot of it is due to people who don't understand what they're watching when they watch football, and don't usually rewind plays to see what they like. If I don't understand what I just saw, I have to rewind the game. Like, what the hell just happened there? Why did he just try and tackle the guy with one hand, or what type of effort was that? Did he really just do that? And then I really want to see the truth of it. Like, did we really, how did they screw that up there? And I'm not the biggest X's and O's guy, but I can tell where the screw up is. I can tell why you're making the mistake. Oh God, this guy blitzed and then left this huge space behind him, and everyone just basically went in, and this guy was supposed to go get deeper into coverage from the linebacker spot. He was supposed to deepen while everybody was supposed to blitz. And then he blitzed, and so the huge spot was vacant, and boom, they picked him off for 40 yards over the middle in the flat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell that type of stuff. And so when I look at LSU's defense for going forward, where's the places that we need the biggest help? It's over the middle. The linebacking core look electric. They need absolute support, or they're going to get exposed, they're going to get exhausted, and then they're going to get injured, which we just saw with Whit Weeks and his brother West for most of the season as well. So you don't want either of those guys injured. You don't want these brilliant linebackers to get weathered. You want to have some support at the back end. You've got to have it. LSU haven't had it for years. You've got to find that mix, that magic. You've got to go get to Marcus Cooley, whatever it takes, whether that's offering his brother. I don't care. Get them both on the roster. But Cooley isn't a be-all, end-all, but he is a supremely talented safety, exactly what you need. A player that you should theoretically, hypothetically, all theticallys, you should get this guy. You should be able to pay for him and get him, right? However, it gets very difficult with his brother and the Kentucky involvement. We should see an announcement in the next, I think by tonight, but I'll just say in the next 24 hours, but really we could see something by tonight. Really, we could see something by the time I am done or even during this show. Let's take a look at that real quick. Hayes Fawcett. Wow. Nothing yet, but there will be an announcement soon from the Cooley brothers. Very, very, very soon. They have to make the announcement very soon anyway, but I would expect that to come in the next 10 to 24 hours. And the quicker the announcement comes, the more I'm worried that it'll be for Kentucky. If this takes till tomorrow for the announcement to come, LSU have a very good shot. But it's all up to the brother thing, you know. Do they want to be that package deal or not? That's the whole thing. We could be reading so much more into it with the eyes than really there is, and especially dudes right now are very like close to the chest with these type of decisions. So as much as I have tried to figure out what's going on from that angle, they're not revealing anything. Very, very closed with all that stuff. But you know, there's been some droplets here and there. We've been able to more get stuff from the LSU side of things, and some from the Kentucky side of things. So there's a few people at Kentucky that we've gotten to know who really know the Kentucky recruiting and said this looks like a really good slam dunk deal for them. They're very high on those two coming. I think they're jumping the gun there, but we'll see. We'll know very soon. It's for right now, I'm going to say 50-50, but It's the quicker the announcement comes, they're going to go to Kentucky. If it takes a bit longer, till tomorrow, maybe even Wednesday, LSU are probably doing a lot of work behind the scenes to try and make it happen. Anyway, before signing off, I want to say how pumped up I was as a lifelong Washington fan. I mean, of course, my college team is LSU, but my NFL team has always been Washington. That is something that many people can prove for years. Um, as a lifelong Washington Redskins fan, PC, you can't say that. You might be racist. No, that's the name of the team. Yeah, it sounds bad, but what I've noticed, a lot of natives actually want the name to come back. A lot of Native Americans want the name to come back. So that kind of makes me kind of turn my head a little. And it kind of makes me turn my head a little when the people who got rid of the name were mostly white. So it kind of seems a little strange. But I hate the new name. Washington Commanders can't jive with it. Sounds really stupid. Sounds kind of warmongering and stupid, like a lot of Washington D.C. Politicians. But name aside, the Washington franchise has always been my team, my family's team, NFL team, and like I only remember pain with that team, and I always laughed at how wow both LSU and Washington very rarely, once in a blue moon, have a good quarterback and go on a crazy run, but Washington never could. Washington in my lifetime never could. Even when they'd have Brad Johnson, they won one playoff game against Detroit. We're gonna have a rematch from that '99 game coming up this weekend. They won that one, then they lose to Tampa, and then from there it was 6 years until they got to the next playoff game, 2005 against Tampa Bay, another showdown against Tampa Bay in the wild card. And it's the game where Sean Taylor spat in I think Jarquez's Green's face, maybe. Spits in his face, gets ejected. We still survive against John Gruden's Bucks. And that was the last Washington playoff win. Since then, it was we lose in the second round to the Seahawks that year in 2005. A Seahawks team that went to the Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl to the Steelers. And then in 2007, we had that crazy year where Washington was literally 3-7, and then won 6 in a row to go to make the playoffs, 9-7, and we lose to the Seahawks with who was our quarterback? It was Jason Collins or something like that. It was ridiculous. Todd Collins took us to the playoffs that year. Todd fucking Collins took Washington to the playoffs that year. Won 6 games in a row against some crazy opponents too. It was a nuts run, but once again, Washington lose to the Seahawks. Same exact team 2 years before. Sean Alexander, Hasselbeck, whole gang. 2011, the Legion of Boom is just barely kind of figuring itself out, coming together, and we lose to them at home. RG3's rookie season, rookie of the year in the wild card game with a brace on his knee already, tears his ACL, all sorts of destruction to his knee, was never the same from that game forward. And he had scored a rushing touchdown in that game with a knee brace. He had done all this great stuff in that game, but we lose to the Seahawks again. Then in 2015, it was the Kirk Cousins era. He takes us to, some pretty awesome offensive heights with Pierre Garçon and a pretty high-flying offense. Jordan Reed. It was a sick offense for that year. And then we lose to the Packers in the wild card game. And that was a very disgraceful, frustrating loss with Kirk Cousins losing that game, because it was just like, wow, such promise, such deflation. This is the Kirk Cousins experience. And from there, it was like a wilderness of pain. Washington was bad for so many years through all of that, all because of Dan Snyder. We get to the 2020 pandemic playoffs because we win the NFC East in a year where everyone was just so god awful. I think an 8-8 Washington make it in, or 9-7, whatever it was. 7-9 maybe even was our record. We were so bad. Taylor Heineke was our quarterback, and we lost by 8 to the Buccaneers in a postseason where they killed everybody on their way to the Super Bowl. So we played the Brady's Bucks better than anybody in that postseason with Taylor Heineke as our quarterback. They didn't have Devin White out because of COVID, but Levante David made some big plays. So my history of Washington being in the playoffs, my history of Washington as a franchise in my lifetime has been shit. It has been pain. It has been misery. There's been some big moments here and there. There's been some great moments, but it's usually been like a lot of shame and like, God damn, like a lot of heartache, a lot of like, thank God LSU's got, the 2019 season, because that was one of the worst Washington years ever, 2019. Like, Washington was always so bad. Even when, like, LSU would always find those quarterbacks, Rohan Davey, Matt Flynn, Jamarcus Russell. People say we didn't have any quarterbacks before, but that's bullshit. They just haven't watched much LSU football. They didn't put up as many numbers as guys like Burrow and Daniels. But anyway, point is, I knew when Washington entered this season and the ownership takeover happened and they got rid of Snyder. They got Adam Smith, or what is his name? I'm trying to remember our owner's name, but him, all this ownership group, they put in Cliff Kingsbury, Dan Quinn, who I was not a fan of that hire really of Dan Quinn, but he's proven me wrong, I guess. I think it's more Cliff Kingsbury that's been the most successful for Washington, but they put it all together. And then I'm saying, oh my God, draft Jaden Daniels. I hope to God the Bears do not draft him with that number 1 overall pick. If they don't, they are such fools. And if we get that pick, we are literally going to win a Super Bowl with Jaden Daniels. And my God, I knew the Bears would be such fools. They'd take the bait and they bit. And they got Caleb Williams, the shiny prospect of doom, like they thought it was this shiny toy and they're going to be flying to the next heavens of the 85 Bears reincarnated. And it was instead another nightmare for them because they're terribly run. And the guy who had all the intangibles already to be a great professional, who had all of the talents to be an unstoppable dual threat force unlike the NFL has ever seen, and he's only just scratching the surface during a historic rookie of the year season. Jaden Daniels was that dude, and Chicago completely missed the boat, and because of that, they're going to be in the doldrums for another 5 years. But because Washington made the right choice and drafted LSU, and drafted an LSU quarterback for the first time in forever, because Dan Snyder loved Alabama and worshipped Alabama and drafted only Alabama players, it seemed, which drove me over the wall. Some guys like Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne have paid off, but some others just like, dude, what are we doing? Now it seems like we're going to go in that direction of actually drafting LSU, and it's paid off. NFLSU, baby. And Jaden Daniels has literally changed the franchise of Washington, changed the future for Washington. And I'm not gonna say, oh, this is all me, I predicted this, but literally, I told anyone who would listen, if Washington draft Jaden Daniels, they are literally going on a Super Bowl run this year. as a rookie. People thought I was nuts. People think I'm insane for saying that. I don't see how this team can really. I see some big flaws with this Washington team. Some big flaws. They let teams into it. They screw up so many opportunities to really be a killer and have some killer instinct. But they have an easier path to a Super Bowl than people would think. Detroit are beat up in the trenches. Aiden Hutchinson, even a former LSU rookie, Mekhi Wingo, he's out for the season. That he joins like 4 guys on that front who are out for the season. They're not going to be able to stop Jaden Daniels. Detroit's not going to be able to keep up with Washington, with Terry McLaurin catching, however many touchdowns he has now. I think 15, almost more than Jamar Chase's 17. It's ridiculous. McLaurin's having such a year, and Jaden Daniels is the one feeding it to him. De'Ami Brown, Zacchaeus. Jaden Daniels has elevated everyone around him. He elevated that offensive line to raise their game. He has Tom Brady juice. Jaden Daniels has Tom Brady juice. And the fact that we did not win a national championship with that young man at LSU will haunt Brian Kelly for the rest of his life. It'll haunt me for the rest of my life, the fact that we didn't win a championship with that 2023 offense. I'm not going to say it should haunt you for the rest of your life because you're not as neurotic or as insane as I am. But if you get caught between the moon and New York City, it's crazy, but it's true. Some people will get that reference and that weird joke that I just threw in there. But everybody, I love you. And go Tigers. We'll be hitting you up very soon when Cooley makes that announcement, either LSU or Kentucky. It's right on the knife edge. Peace, guys.